Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me or if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. We are continuing to inch. We're inching. We're not exploding to it, but we're inching to 2,000 subscribers. And there's a chance we can get there before the start of the football season. And I would love if that was just to happen. So please keep supporting. We really do appreciate it. And, do your thing. A good friend of mine, Emory Hunt of Football Game Plan, footballgameplan.com, one of the hardest workers in football that I've ever seen. He does everything. But one of the things that people forget about Emory is that Emory did play the game. He's not just a guy who talks about the game. He's not just a guy who studied the game. He played the game. And he had a really interesting tweet yesterday that caught a lot of traction. If you're not winning up front on first to third down, what makes you think you're going to win on fourth down? A chart? That's all coaches be trying to say. And he laughed. And immediately all of the analytics people who, let's be 100 about it, have never actually played football, all came out in defense of the chart. Well, he's acting like it's just some made-up chart. He's acting as if this is something that people just created. This is thousands upon thousands of data points put together to come up with this solution. Now, I'm going to step back for a second and tell you that I believe in analytics, and I myself believe in going forward on fourth down mostly. I believe that, A, if you don't have a great punter, go for it on fourth down. B, if you don't have great operation on your punt team, go for it on fourth down. C, if you have an offense that is so prolific that you feel like you can make a first down on every play, go for it on fourth down. I'm not really too concerned with the chart. I believe that you have to understand the situation. But going back to the statistics, because the statistics say you should definitely go for it on fourth down because you have a high probability that if you set yourself up to be a 4-down team, you only need 2.5 yards a play in order to achieve a first down. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. That leaves you 2.5 on fourth down. You should feel as if you have an offense that can pick up a 2.5 yards. Here's the problem. And here's what analytics guys have not figured out, and why they speak with their chest poked out, and they look at people who don't necessarily subscribe to their thinking with some type of as if they're ignorant, as if they're idiots. And this is why they lose credibility. Because you don't get 1,000 times. You don't get 1,000 opportunities to make that first down. You don't get 1,000 opportunities on fourth down. You get one. And if you get that one and you don't make it, you have to be comfortable in the results of not making it. People will always assume that if you didn't make that fourth down when you were backed up on your side of the field, that's the reason that you lost. Even though that may not be the truth. Most likely it's not the truth. When you get it, when you don't make it on fourth down, you have to deal with the scrutiny from fans. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. That girl doesn't understand football. That guy doesn't get it. You've got to punt. You've got to play the field position game. Why? Because we've been conditioned that is the way football is played. How does this affect the head coach? This affects the head coach because if the people who employ you or the people who support or patronize the people who employ you, if they don't agree with what you're doing, then there's a chance you can be without a job. And I know all of the analytics guys will sit back and say, oh, well, you made the right decision even if you don't make it. But that's blackjack. And in blackjack, people lose big betting by the chart. In blackjack, there's a formula. There's a chart. If everybody at the table plays by the rules, someone can still lose. That is the chance of the game. You know why? Because nobody that's sitting down at the blackjack table has unlimited amounts of money. And if they don't have unlimited amounts of money and they can't catch the streak where they make all of those according to the statistics, they're going to lose. And they're going to lose big. So when you're a football coach and your livelihood is based off of coaching, NFL, college, in some places high school. I'm lucky enough to where that wasn't my case. But when your livelihood is based off coaching, and now people are asking you to make a decision that if you don't get it or if it doesn't work out in big moments that people can notice, because that's all they notice is the big moments. They don't notice the times when you pick up the fourth down. They only notice the times when you don't. And when you don't pick up the fourth down, they're going to scrutinize you. And if you don't have an administration that's on your side when you're in college, an athletic director, a president, a booster club, or the board of directors, whatever that college may have, if they're not on your side with going forward on fourth down, and you miss a couple crucial fourth downs, they're going to question your intelligence as a football coach. Then they're going to question whether or not they have the right football coach. And when that happens, you're going to lose your job. Now you're going to have to explain to most likely a wife and kids why they have to move, why you have to take an assistant coaching job in Hoboken. There are consequences that come with going forward on fourth down because that is not the norm and that is not the expected. And until you have administrators, until you have front offices that are on board with you 100%, that are willing to block out the noise from the outside, from the people who don't really understand it when you don't get it right, or when you don't make fourth down, not when you don't get it right, because if you're going for it, you've looked at your chart, you've done the numbers, it says go, you're going. So you've made the correct decision. But sometimes that correct decision doesn't pay off. And when it doesn't pay off, if you don't have support from higher up, you're getting fired. And what analytics guys always forget is that these are jobs. These are not only jobs, these are well-paying jobs. Well-paying jobs that these men would love to keep. And if you're somebody that wants to keep their job, you can't always go for it on fourth down. Not if the administration, not if the front office are not 100% behind you. You may not even be able to go for it on fourth down when you think it's advantageous to go for it on fourth down. Not if the administration, Not if the front office isn't 100% behind you. Got to think about these things. It's easy in an office behind a computer to tell people that they need to take that risk when you are never going to be in that position to take that risk. That's like me telling people, well, you know, it only takes 5 jumps for you to become an expert at skydiving. And I've never been skydiving. I'm not an expert. I just went off of this information that I gathered from thousands upon thousands of skydivers. But notice what I said, thousands upon thousands. So what about the ones where it didn't work? What about the ones where that wasn't the case? Are you willing to be the statistic when the statistic does not work? Because no statistics are 100%. So are you willing to be the statistic when the statistic does not work? Are you willing to die with those decisions? That is the type of questions that head coaches have to ask themselves every day with every decision, not just with 4th down, with every decision. So you, analytics guy, sitting at the computer, you, analytics girl, crunching the numbers, you, analytics person, out there trying to tell people what they should or should not do without any practical experience and without any actual desire to get out there and do it for real. Just be quiet. Analytics are not end all to be all. Analytics are simply stats. Stats are made to assist. They are not made to replace. They are made to assist. And as I go, we have a ton of evidence of people who have tried to change the math and have been met with scrutiny. I remember John Harbaugh, when John Harbaugh was going for it on 4th down. And people were like, you got the best kicker in the world. I don't understand why you don't go for it. John Harbaugh understood the numbers. John Harbaugh was playing the game the way the analytics guys said he was supposed to play it, and people were killing him for it. Mike Tomlin up in Pittsburgh, he was going for 2 early in games. He had taken the statistic, he had made it work where he was comfortable. He had support from the front office clearly. People were killing him when he was going for it on. So now we're supposed to just wholesale just drop this in and nobody think anything of it. What Emory said was right. If you're not having success on 1st down, 2nd down, or 3rd down, there's better than likely a chance that you're not going to have success on 4th. So why are you setting yourself up for failure? Just because a chart told you to? Nah, come on. That is from people who have never been in the fire. That is from people who've never had to turn and look at their defensive coordinator when they turn the ball over on a 30-yard line, and now that DC has to send his defense out there to defend 30 yards. That's not coming from anyone who's ever had to look at defensive players as they stare him down on 4th down when you're going for it and you're backed up and they're going, man, just punt it. There are so many factors involved that a lot of you analytics guys and girls don't even think about, because all you're doing is looking at the numbers. And that's why you don't coach We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree or disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on my YouTube channel, you know what to do. Like it, subscribe it, leave a comment. Subscribe. We'll see y'all later. Peace.